I'm Joyce Hornady. You might say accuracy is my business. I make bullets.
You are listening to the Hornady Podcast.
Thanks for joining us and enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Hornady Podcast. I'm your host, Seth, and today a full table full of some rifle goodness and a couple marketeers. We've got Judd Jarzinka, Preston Lentfer on the show with some rifles. Guys, thanks for coming on the podcast.
I'm begrudgingly on the show.
Yeah, that's true. But you're here, and we're happy.
We're all together.
Yeah, at least we're together, as Judd would say.
Hey, this is an exciting one. This is going to get...
The people have asked.
Yeah.
People have asked. And so for the listener, if this is your first podcast, we'll explain it. For the avid listener, you've seen a ton of rifle builds where we've done 7 PRCs. We did a night hunting rig. We've done a muzzle loader thing that we released recently. We've got all kinds of rifle builds because people just ask. They want to see, what do we use here in the shop? And a lot of those rifle builds, all of those rifle builds up to this point, have been complete, full tilt, custom from tip to tip. Sky's the limit. Get out the checkbook. Let's make it happen kind of stuff. And we understand that that's not always the case for everybody. And what we're going to talk about today, you don't have to do all that stuff to really get some high performance rifles built. And I think that's the biggest takeaway that I think here, fast forward 30 minutes from now, I think we're going to be able to say that you don't have to sell the farm in order to finance the rifle build to get something that's going to be effective for you. And you've been on a bunch of hunts with these, which we'll talk about as we get there. But Judd, what do we got in front of us right here before we get started on the builds? And I'll walk you through them. Just tell us broad level, what do we got here?
Well, so these are the his and hers Ruger American Predator. When I first started at Hornady, I think one of my first firearm purchases was this Predator right here, 6.5 Creedmoor. I didn't have one.
Gotta have one.
And you gotta have one. It's America's cartridge. Everybody loves it.
Mm-hmm. Loves to hate it.
Talking to Matt Spencer, I'm sure he'll listen to this at some point, but probably ought to have a 6.5 Creedmoor.
You probably ought to.
Yeah.
You really should. I mean, ammo is everywhere. We had an outdoor journalist go to Mongolia. I
love their food.
Yeah. Went to Mongolia. You know what they had as a camp rifle? Because his rifle didn't show up? 6.5 Creedmoor.
Heck yeah.
Yep. So
worldwide.
Yep. So it is everywhere, Judd. And so this was the first purchase. It was the Ruger American.
Yeah.
Now, what led you to the Ruger American?
Man, I don't know if I can even... Here. I think it was just the talk of the office at the time. I think Monty had just gotten one.
Well, they just come out.
Probably so.
Or, not that long
10 years ago? 11 years ago? That was already?
Over a decade.
They're old as the hills.
Holy cow. Yeah, I think it was just kind of the talk of the office. I think Monty had some. We actually had an event. Ruger came in, and they were shooting them, so I thought they were pretty neat. Was familiar with them. Biggest thing that attracted me was the price.
That's what I'm talking about.
An affordable option. And seeing how well those shot, once I got this one, it was no exception. Holy cow, did the thing shoot. And keep in mind, at the time when I started, and still, I'm just a hick from the hills. So if I can hit a paper plate, I'm happy. And man, these things shot so dang good. The best I've ever shot.
Tapped up on your wall still.
I shot that downstairs in the tunnel with this, and that was one of the first groups I shot. And the rest has kind of been
So you bought this one, as history goes, you bought this one of your first rifles as an employee that you purchased here. It came out of the box, shot great. Now the price went up on these Ruger Americans, as all things have in the country, but you decided many years later, jump in on number 2. What's this one?
Yeah, so got married. That was the biggest thing there, why there's been 2. Well, we shared this rifle for a while we were dating, Courtney and I. But yeah, then, you get to coyote hunting and you're in the daylight and, we're switching rigs. And at the time I was shooting my 223, just an AR, and she was shooting the 6.5 Creedmoor for our day hunts. But then I got the thermal, so that took my 223. So of course we had to make the switch, and I just wanted something a little faster too, and I like the 6 Creed. So this one, we actually elected to go with the 6 Creedmoor, so we got the 6.5 and the 6. But yeah, just
very, Very well done with
Well,
the
it kind
caliber
of makes
choice.
sense though on the 6 Creedmoor as being that next purchase, because you think 6.5 Creedmoor, I think deer, right? I just think deer. Whereas the 6 Creedmoor, I mean, yes, deer, but then coyotes as well. Like
Prairie dogs.
I mean, it's both. It really encompasses and does both varmints and deer very well.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah.
And you
Not
guys
saying the 6.5 Creedmoor won't shoot a coyote, but
ranching up in the hills, coyotes they're always on. Yeah, you see a coyote, you lay it down.
Hey, to that point, I had to snatch these this morning to bring them in here to the office, and this one was easy to find. It was in the safe. Courtney's stationed by the door, ready to roll. So yeah, I had to snag hers by the door, and we don't have any kids yet, so we I guess we don't keep everything locked up. But yeah, hers was stationed by the door, ready to roll in case she sees anything. That's kind of her thing. She likes to check in the mornings and the evenings, so it's always ready to roll.
And she's had success. Oh, there's a coyote out there.
Yep, in her robe and her little
slippers out there.
What, should I not say that, Preston? That got her eyes out of you. Yeah, her robe and her slippers. It's happened multiple times. Our kitchen window kind of just faces the tree line, the shelter belt, and it's happened multiple times where she'll be at the sink and spot something in the trees, and she'll be out there running.
When you said that, you just think of the movies where the old lady's got a frying pan or something.
Yeah,
She's
curlers
in
in
a robe
her
and curls her hair.
Hey, that's
what.
If
Well,
you're
my mind
envisioning
went
that,
to.
you're not too far off. Yeah.
With all due respect, Courtney.
Yeah.
All right, so you've got a matching set, really, his and hers. You got a 6.5, you got the 6, and they're set up just a little bit differently. And I'm going to kind of walk through these together rather than focus on one, then the other. We'll juxtapose them a little bit because they're set up slightly different but similar for slightly similar but slightly different purposes. And both of these things shoot lights out. So you start at Hornady, you get the Ruger American, the Predator, 22-inch barrels on these.
Oh, yep.
This one chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. The first edition, you put the Hornady bolt ball on there.
That was the first edition. So yeah, I had it completely stock, but you had to put a bolt ball on
Well,
there.
and with these bolts, when you put a scope on them, you're at risk of taking part of your thumb off if you get to cruising on them.
That's true.
Yeah, their bolts are not huge on the Ruger American.
No,
Not
and
huge.
this bolt ball, I was telling Judd before recording, that thing's got some miles on it.
I've never seen one more slick.
It's as shiny as my head.
If not shinier.
It's got some revs on it. Yeah, I don't know. I know we like to make a lot of jokes around the office about the bolt balls, but man, the line that we have, turn practical into tactical. It's true.
We wouldn't be talking about a bolt ball if you didn't say that.
That's right. So you take the rifle, you put the bolt ball on there. You got to get it shooting. You get it shooting. The most aesthetically different thing that the viewer's going to notice is this one's got a little bit, I'm going to call it better, stock here. Certainly aesthetically a little more pleasing, and just the lines, the shape, the rigidity. Why'd you end up replacing the stock, and what'd you go with?
So yeah, the biggest thing with the stock, and they have since even updated.
Yeah, this is a Gen 1.
Yep. They've since even updated the stocks, but the biggest thing was, just shooting off of a tripod or a bipod. It just felt like there was a lot of flex there, which there was. But yeah, this is actually the
updated one. Yeah. So it's got a lot of cross webbing in it, and they made that more rigid. Still all polymer stock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so anyway, that was kind of the biggest thing. Well, let's change that. That wasn't the biggest thing. You guys know me. I just wanted it to look good. So I did some shopping, and you guys had told me, because Preston, you've got the same stock on your...
My wife's got olive drab and black webbing on hers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have one?
Oh, yeah. My dad's got this one in 6 Creedmoor. Yeah.
So I think that kind of, I liked the look of it, and I thought it'd be pretty neat. And I just was ready for a change.
Yeah, it just feels more substantial in your hand.
Yeah.
It definitely gives the sense of quality. Now, this is a Bell & Carlson and really an affordable option.
Yeah.
They're not that expensive in the world of aftermarket stocks.
And they run some good sales, too. I just missed it. I should have got another one coming, but they ran their holiday sale or whatever.
And I think you're definitely going to add some weight over the factory stock, but they're pretty reasonably
2.5 pounds,
2.5, I think. Maybe less, but I think it's 2.5.
Yep, 2.5 pounds. And I think one of the biggest things that I think is a huge value is, one, these are coming in, last I checked, they were under $400. uses the factory bottom metal. It's a direct, you get that stock in, you screw it together, the end. That to me is a huge value when you're looking at aftermarket stocks. You can retain the use of that bottom metal. And speaking of bottom metal, what's this one equipped with here? It's the factory.
Is it?
Factory.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yep.
Well, let's ask my gunsmith.
Yeah.
You said you can just pop the bolts and do
Ruger
it.
started with a rotary magazine.
Yep, right
in
here.
the Predator. That is not a rotary magazine. That just goes from bottom to top.
Okay.
Like a true rotary mag,
oh, yeah.
right?
I remember those.
And so they upgraded to this more of just a straight up pusher.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm
Single
not a real gunsmith.
Yeah, single feed.
But anyway, this Bell & Carlson will screw just right in there and use the factory magazine.
And
Now that's the only one that's going to work with it is a factory Ruger magazine.
Yep. But it does work smooth, feeds great.
Yeah. Well, so I did upgrade that. I did have the rotary mag initially and upgraded to that, and it's it's done a lot better for
Now
me.
you can, and I don't know if you ever will, but you can get from Bell & Carlson an AICS magazine conversion kit for that stock. If a guy wants to.
If you want to,
Or
because
gal.
a lot of us run AI mag, so that'd be convenient. Now, up front on this stock, Picatinny rail. That's not from the factory. You had to put that in there.
Yeah, that my real gunsmith did put that in there for me. I
don't
believe.
remember.
I think you did. You've
Maybe.
done about all the gunsmithing on these. But yeah, I had the Atlas bipod that we'll get into, and I use that on my match gun.
Mhm.
And I thought, for as much as those things cost, I'm going to use it on as much as I can.
Yes.
So yeah, we put that little pick rail on there, and then
Looks like a Seekins maybe?
Yeah, with the
Flush cup.
integrated flush cup. Yeah, that's pretty fantastic.
So yeah,
Now-
these come with one sling swivel. So we must have put a T-nut in there
I
to
imagine
get
so,
to get
yep.
two
Yeah,
screws.
and that's what I was going to bring up was when you jump over to the her rifle, the factory stock, you got a single sling swivel up front and sling swivel in the back. Now this one a little bit different. This one uses that proprietary Ruger, kind of like a stack and a half single feed magazine. Courtney's rifle uses AICS pattern.
And that's Ruger's own magazine comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gen 1 had the old one. Gen 2 has this one. Now they've added this extra little piece here
Yep.
as a magazine latch. That's my only gripe with the Ruger American, really.
Little bigger latch.
Well, it's just when you have to take the barreled action out of the stock, they send you a tool with it. You can do it without the tool, but there's a spring in there and you got to disassemble all that to take the barreled action out of the stock.
Okay. A little bit inconvenient. So this thing, as you see it here on Courtney's rifle, bone stock. You've added a bipod, but no other additions to that, unlike your Bell & Carlson where you put the Picatinny rail in.
she likes it. So I've made mention to her before about doing an upgrade, see if she was interested in it, and she likes it. And I think the biggest thing is the weight. I mean, that thing is so light. And when we're coyote hunting, most oftentimes, we're not taking super far shots.
Right.
So, I don't know if she requires the best of the best, but the biggest thing, the perk, is the weight. It weighs nothing.
Well, they're both lightweight machines here, for sure.
Out here, you may only get one chance. So never compromise. At any distance. Match accurate ELDX bullets, highest BCs, flat trajectories, and unparalleled terminal performance at all practical ranges. Precision Hunter ammunition from Hornady.
When you look at both of them, bipods you got to have. Now you mentioned running the Atlas here because that's been around a long time, and just a bulletproof bipod get you down to about 4 inches, get you up to a little over 9 inches, which is pretty versatile before you jump over to a tripod.
Yeah.
And what are you running here on Courtney's?
That's just a Harris, I think, is what that one is.
Classic 6-9 Harris with the notched legs.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
I think, and that all started, so it's kind of everything I've upgraded on this has just moved over to that. So I started with that Harris, and then just kind of switched things over and worked them through. But
awesome. Well, they're good looking setups. Now, it wasn't just simple barreled actions dropped in the new stock, or in this case, just the barreled action, because these rifles got one thing in common: different trigger. And in my opinion, when you take a factory rifle there's two things that you can really do to make this thing infinitely more user friendly, and that is a stock that fits and is comfortable, and a trigger that is just breaks like glass exactly where you want it. What'd you guys do on the trigger side of this stuff?
So, and this is just recently. I don't know if I've even had them 6 months, but we switched and went the Timney option and put the Timney bolt-ons on here. And yeah, I've really liked them. I honestly haven't got out to shoot a whole bunch yet, but it's easy to notice that there's an improvement there. And we turned them down. Courtney's, I think, is even a little less in the 2s of pounds.
2.5. Yeah.
And
I think hers might be 2, yours might be 2.5.
Yeah, something like that. But
that's a really nice trigger weight, in my opinion. If you're really trying to shoot something far away, or if you're trying to shoot small groups, having a light enough trigger is helpful. Is it necessary? No. But you can usually get a 2-pound trigger to break when you're in that natural respiratory pause. You get a whole lot heavier than that. Sometimes with a long trigger press, you have to interrupt that press to come back to a natural pause, and that can just be problematic. And I've seen it for my personal shooting. Does it enhance the accuracy of the rifle? No. It enhances the accuracy of me, which is really desirable. Not that those factory triggers are bad.
And those were like a Savage style, right?
With that,
with that
blade.
Yeah, and they're not bad at all.
Yeah.
That's just a little bit of a enhancement.
Yep.
Well, and I'm spoiled rotten. I've got my gunsmith right here that does a lot of this, but
he's got a Dremel tool.
It's not hard. All these parts, changing the stocks, the triggers, we're just pulling bolts and pulling screws. And
yeah, if you have like a little screwdriver set, you can do most anything.
Yeah.
And a punch and a hammer.
Punch, hammer, screwdriver set, and you probably won't get yourself into too much trouble. You start, throwing things in a mill. You can remove some material in a darn hurry. But just some nice, simple enhancements.
I would say the only thing, and I don't think there's an option out there, but if it was a 3-position safety, they'd truly be the ultimate then. If I could lock the bolt, because from time to time, you guys hunted with the 2 positions, the bolt pops open sometimes when it's on your back and you're slinging.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the only downside. If I could lock that bolt.
Kind of hard to find a 3-position safety a whole lot anymore.
Yeah.
There are some out there, but not a lot.
Are the new ones? Are the Gen 2s?
I don't think so.
I think they are.
Oh, maybe
I'm pretty sure the Gen 2s are. Yeah. So
you might have to upgrade.
I can't let these go.
It'll take
have
years.
to add to them.
It'll take years.
Well,
yeah.
You just add a new. You know what? Get the
arc?
Gen 2s in the 6 arc and a 22 arc, his and hers.
So I know we're
talking.
jumping ahead here a little bit, but I think if I do another night gun, I'd like to do a bolt gun. And again, just for the price, a 22 arc with the little ranch Ruger American. I think that's got to happen.
They're handsome rifles. They do that spiral fluting on the barrel. They look good. I'm not going to lie to you.
And they really upgraded the stock on that Gen 2. That is way more rigid than this one even.
And it's modular.
Yeah.
You move, gets your cheap piece. Right. Yep. So definite changes made there. Now, before we move on to the rest of it, while we're talking about stocks and bipods, I noticed back here on the her rifle, just the classic Hornady leather sling, great sling.
Got the neoprene back here, a little anti-slip.
What are you running on the original, the OG?
So on the OG here, and again, I should say these are his and hers, but
they're both hers.
They're both hers. If we're on a coyote hunt together, we're splitting them up. But if we're doing an antelope hunt or a deer hunt or whatnot, 9 times out of 10, we're taking the 6.5. So we do share this. So there's times where we're walking, we're hoofing, we're not just walking to a ground blind or something.
No, you're hunting the West.
I really like the little bit of grippy or rubberish stuff here on a sling, so it kind of stays on your shoulder. And I have a Mystery Ranch pack, so I went with the Mystery Ranch sling. Now they also do have the little, I'm going to butcher the name here, and I don't know it at all, but they have the little sling rifle attachment that you can actually lock this sling and rifle on your back. But with just the pull of a little clip, you have quick access to it. But so I have that as well that I like to run. But the biggest thing on this Mystery Ranch sling, and I'm sure there's plenty others that have it, but this has some aggressive little rubber grip, and that stays on your shoulder.
Yep.
So I do like that.
I think we've all hiked a ton of miles, and if you're fighting a rifle sling to stay on your shoulder, there's nothing worse than that. That is so annoying. One of the cool things with this sling in particular Little thing, but it's the little things that get you by. Down on the bottom here, where it attaches to the buttstock, you have 2 points of manipulation. So if you want it shorter or longer, you can tug on one or the other or both, and then one. Gravity works all the time. So when the rifle's slung, you can just pull on that tab and it'll loosen up on you real quick. So little things.
The biggest thing too that moved me to spending a little bit of money on a sling was I found myself wanting to, like if I was walking, strap it to my pack because I was just tired of fighting other slings. So I'd strap it to the pack. Little do you know, when you have your rifle strapped, that's when you need it. So I spent a little money on a little bit of an upgrade on a sling, so I can keep it handy. And
Did it come with sling swivels, and you added the flush cup, or vice versa?
Yep, I added the flush cup on the front end. I think it came with the sling swivels. I like that option too. I don't know if I've ever used it. Like, I got to get this sling off in a hurry, but if it does get hung up on something, if I'm in the moment, I can easily pull that and just let the sling fly.
I think we ought to go to the gunsmith and put in a flush cup on the back.
Yeah, there you go.
Honestly, I think we should. I ordered like 10 of them a few months ago because I came up, was like going to put one in the back and was like, oh, crap. I ran out. So I ordered 10 of them.
Just get a couple
anti-rotation
construction screws and just zip it right to the side, or what do you?
That's one way.
Oh,
that's not. Yeah,
that's a shade tree.
We'll do it in what we call the right way.
Yeah, but that sling, we kind of hit on it here a lot, but I just really like it.
Yep. Well, that's why you do it. Now, up on top here, we're gonna kind of go this way, and then we'll finish out with what's on the muzzle. Up on top, similar optics here, not exactly the same, but real darn close. What do you got for scopes on these bad boys?
So these are Vortex HSLRs. This is the OG. I've had that on there for its existence, I'm pretty sure. And then the biggest thing is just the communication thing. If it kind of happens when we're laying down shooting prairie dogs, but if we have similar setups, Courtney and I can speak the same language.
Yep.
And I am MOA on these, so that's just kind of the language I grew up with, so I stick with that on there. Making the transition now to the other side, but yeah, they're just easy. Everything's the same. I think the only difference is this is a 50 objective and this is a 42, I believe. 44. Yep.
Simple. Same reticle.
Yep.
Same turret.
Same turret. Same reticle. The biggest thing, and this has bit me in the past, if you're used to dialing quarter clicks on your elevation, these are half. And it's bit me a couple of times. They are second focal plane, so you do have to be on the 16 power. But back to the clicks, I put some stickers on here that say half MOA clicks. So when you're in the moment, there's a white sticker right there that says half MOA, so you don't make the mistake, which I've done in the past, of thinking you're dialing quarter and you're not.
No. And it looks like you paired these up with some matching Vortex rings.
Yeah. Yep, I believe so. Just
I don't remember.
They are.
I don't remember what kind these Vortex are.
These are their new ones,
but they've got torque values printed right on them. That's fantastic. And then these are the Vortex Seekins precision match rings.
Yep. If you're gonna buy good glass, you gotta buy good rings, and that's refreshing to see. I think a lot of people, maybe some viewers, are saying, "Oh, I've got a Ruger rifle, and let me see what's going on here." And they might have a good scope, but I feel like it can be a slippery slope if you buy an economically priced rifle, that you also buy economically priced rings. And I would just warn you against it, in my opinion.
Are the factory Picatinny rails on here, right?
Yep, but we did take them off, and I think it re-Loctite them and
get them torqued
make sure
up. Right?
Get them torqued up. I think we did do that just so we're square.
The Hornady Click Adjust Bullet Seating Micrometer. Precisely set bullet seating depth with click adjust in 1/1000th of an inch increments and easy to read graduations. It's a quick and easy way to achieve bench rest accuracy and consistency with tactile clicks, just like a click adjust scope turret. Easily installed on Hornady custom or match grade seating dies. Take your reloading game to the next level with the Hornady Click Adjust Bullet Seating Micrometer.
Excellent. So 22-inch barrels, 6.5 and 6mm, and muzzle devices. Now, I spun one off here to talk about it. Judd, what do we got on the ends of these things?
So, I'm a Thunder Beast guy here as of lately. So, I've had the 7-inch for a while.
You can tell. by the
Yeah,
way it
you
is.
can tell. I've tried cleaning it before too, and man, the gunk that comes out of there.
It's a hole in it.
Yeah. But yeah, both 30 cal suppressors, so I can run up the chain on anything that I have from 300 blackout down to my 223. So, and then the 6 and the 6.5 in between. But yeah, so I run the 7-inch because Courtney takes the 5-inch, so I run the 7. But yeah, I just run the CB brakes. I've got a collection of them now, and I will tell you the biggest perk to those. Anybody else in the office is a different system. So if they get a new suppressor in, they have the CB brake.
Goes to Judd.
Who's
Judd.
a collector? So yeah, I'm in a pretty good position here right now. But yeah, I really like the Thunder Beast cans. I've had that one for a while and excited to get the other one. So, when Courtney and I are hunting together or just me with buddies and whatnot, it's, you're not blowing ears. So.
Yeah, or just a hunt by yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that touching one off, forgetting an earplug falls out, earplug's not filled. All you have in your pocket's toilet paper to use. Like,
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about getting your belt rung.
And I like the brakes. I've shot my match gun a little bit with the brake without the suppressor, and I like it. And the CB, the only issue I've ever ran into is everybody else in the office, like I mentioned, runs some other systems that thread off the opposite way. So like Matt Ritchie with his big ranch hands, when he's trying to crank mine off and actually tightening it and then locking the sucker.
Seen him do it.
on
Yeah,
there.
oops.
That's probably the only side effect. But yeah, I like them. They're easy. They're there. And yeah.
And they give you the versatility of, if I don't want the suppressor on, no problem. I've got protected threads. I've got, muzzle device on there, and it's tapered back here. And I think that's one of the biggest things with the CB is that taper right there centers this sucker up. I know a lot of precision marksmen hate to take a suppressor off. They don't want to break the carbon seal. You don't have to. Nobody cares about a carbon seal with this system. You just put it on, shoot it, take it off, put it back on.
Yeah, I don't need to plug it too much, but I'm pretty sure Ray did an entire PRS match and took his brake or his suppressor off between every single stage and did well.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if it was a
just goes right
PRS
back to
match
where
or
it
one
was.
of the competition dynamics matches,
Yeah.
but either way, that did happen, and the repeatability is unquestionable.
In the whole systems, I've been super impressed with them. I just got my little makeshift range set up a couple weekends ago out to 700.
Great time of year for it.
Well, it's been nice up until recent. It's been nice. I set it up and it was like 63 degrees. So,
wow.
Got to shoot out there a little bit, and walked the 6.5 out to 600, no problem. And then 700, I wasn't able to hit, but I imagine that was operator error a little bit.
They more than likely.
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, but that's
Probably
I don't
happens.
have a zero angle on either of these. I just kind of set up a profile, got my velocity, and that's all I've done so far. So I probably need to fine tune that a little bit more. But
No,
Well,
we
these things are capable. My wife shoot, and it doesn't have the best scope in the world on it. I mean, if you were to shoot a large sample size, that thing shoots like a minute. Like,
Wow.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say so. And these shoot, like we've talked about it, you've shot some of your best groups. Your first couple groups out of this thing were comparable to your match rifle.
oh yeah, they were knot holes. Yeah, I'm
Now-
used to them. I feel good shooting them. I'm
You look good
confident
shooting
in them.
them.
So
Look at
yeah,
this thing. Big question here. What are you shooting for ammo out of these? Because we've got a lot of options in 6.5 Creedmoor, apparently. And then in 6 Creedmoor, that line is continuing to grow. Do you feed them a steady diet of the same thing, or is it just kind of whatever?
So I initially started doing a little bit of here and there switching or whatnot, but now nothing but 143s out of the 6.5.
Precision hunter.
And I have switched a bit on this. Like if we're shooting prairie dogs or shooting steel, she's shooting the 108s. Otherwise, I've got 103s, but to be honest with you, I don't know if I've ever ran them through there yet. I have them,
Just in case you need it for a deer hunt or something.
So potentially, hopefully, if we draw, Courtney will be drawing a Wyoming Antelope tag. We'll see which she wants to take, but it'd be kind of fun to do it with the 6
Why
Creed,
not?
shoot the 103s. But yeah, I don't know. I wish I had a round count on my 6.5 because, man, I've had this thing for a long time and I've talked it up for a long time. So,
Well, it delivers. That's the thing is, all jokes aside, it delivers. It shoots well. It's killed everything you've put the crosshairs on. You've ran it out to distances that a factory rifle just a few years ago would have never been able to shoot.
or me in general.
Yeah,
never.
right.
I never thought I'd been able to shoot. Yeah.
Well, yeah, just this year it's taken an antelope, right?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So is there anything else about the rifles that you want to touch on before we shift into story time here? Maybe this thing here?
Yeah, I don't think so. When I grabbed these rifles, this ammo pouch was laying next to it, and I think we hit on it before in the podcast.
Yeah.
But it just jumped out at me again of how much I love this ammo pouch. I used to be I'll just throw a box of shells in my pack and let it rattle around the whole time.
Nah.
And yeah,
This is great.
I have the ammo pouches ready to roll. You can hold 10 rounds. You can put it on your belt if you like. I just like to throw it in my front pocket of my pack, and it's easily accessible. Doesn't rattle around. It's pretty quiet.
Protects the bullets.
Protects the bullets.
Projectiles, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoy it. I can't say enough about an ammo pouch. So yeah, I have felt like I had to bring
Big
that
fan.
in.
Yeah, and these are available at Hornady.com. And there are some more expensive options out there. You can get some leather and, all the African artistry all over them and stuff like that. But I have never thought about talking about this on the podcast. But, Judd, that's a good point, because I've taken these all over the world, and I use them on every single hunt. And it's just so convenient. And then once you get used to it, it's right there. You know where it's at.
Yep.
And it's always...
You're not going to fit your big magnums in there, but I've put 7 PRC in there. It's a little slightly uncomfortable, but really aimed at the 308 family of cartridges.
Yeah.
Do you wear it on your belt or you throw it in your pack?
In the pack.
Oh, dang it. I just envisioned you having this on your belt and then just
Game time.
I wish I had it this year.
Yeah.
SnapSafe modular assembly system locks the thick steel exterior together in minutes anywhere in the home. Featuring a pry-resistant 3/16" solid steel door, 8 1-inch chrome steel live locking bolts, digital or mechanical locking options, 9-gauge steel exterior walls, 2300 degree Fahrenheit 1-hour fire shield protection, fully adjustable shelving, and a lifetime warranty. SnapSafe, a modular safe with welded safe security.
We're switching gears now to some story time. So, Judd, you recently killed your first antelope with the old Ruger American. Now, it wasn't your first antelope ever. It was the Ruger American's first
I had
antelope.
to think about that, though. But yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
So you had the rifle a decade, been on several antelope hunts. This one always stayed at home in lieu of other rifles.
Well, yeah, I did. Let's see. I think I had a 7 mag on my very first antelope. And then the one in Nebraska was a muzzleloader hunt, so I didn't have the chance to use the center fire. And then, yeah, went out to Utah with a crew from work here and did an antelope hunt out there, and it was spectacular. But yeah, we
set the stage because from what I hear, the wind was a-blowing.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of funny. And yeah, so we spotted this antelope early in the morning and made a move on him. It didn't quite work out. Had him, things didn't work out. Had him super close, and I should have just probably stood up and free-handed and shot him, but it didn't work out that way. And for a good reason, because the story, at least from my perspective, worked out as a dang good story. So anyway, we find this antelope again, and I don't know, he's 800-900 yards away, which isn't a shot for me. So we move in close, and the terrain allowed it. So that's what was nice too. We could get a hillside in between him and us, and just creep behind it and pop up on that closer hillside. So we did that, and he's laying down, quartered super hard right at me, and you probably could have taken that shot, but we got the time. It was mid-morning at the time. We got all day if we have to sit here, which might be crazy for an antelope. So anyway, yeah, we elected, I guess it was me, because we kind of strung out guys. There was 4 of us in a group, and 2 of the guys stayed way back to watch, and then 2 of us crept up close, and it got to the point where you had to crawl hands and knees. So I did that last, 15 yards myself. So I was laying there solo, and yeah, just elected to wait for a standing broadside shot. Looking back, I didn't think it would take as long as it took. Antelope just kind of seems like they're a little buggy or like to move or get up. This antelope buck laid there for 2 hours.
You got a nice little nap on that stock back there?
Oh, I did, but boy, did it hurt. My back for 2 weeks after that, I felt it. So anyway, it works out. It was I don't know, 2:15, 2.5 hours, somewhere in there. He stood up, and I got the shot and made it happen. The whole time guessing wind and whatnot. So
watching it with the Kestrel, or just? I
did a little bit with the Kestrel, but I was laying on a flat where, if I moved, I just kind of kept parallel, kept the rifle in front of me and crept close. I couldn't really move too much because I felt like, I was in his line of sight. So
Right.
Anyway, kind of played the wind and made the shot or a couple shots. I just put him in him. He took him, so I shot till he was down. So yeah, long story short, get the antelope. Super nice antelope buck. I'm jacked up and think I'm pretty hardcore here. I just laid two and a half hours on this antelope. I was kind of dusting the shoulders. I get back to camp thinking I'm big dog. Holy cow, did everybody make fun of me for waiting on an antelope. You waiting on an antelope? I would have waved a rag, threw a rock, just stood up and like, I don't know. It was funny how it was the complete opposite of what I expected. I thought I was big dog in campus, and
I respect it.
no, everybody like, you waited on an antelope? Yeah, that was pretty funny. I still get some jokes about that.
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the right move. You don't need to take a marginal shot, and you don't need to blow them out because they don't just run 50 yards the next hill.
Yeah.
I've seen a white flag trick work well, and I've also seen them run away from it.
Mm-hmm. So at a dead sprint.
Yeah. It could work, could not.
But yeah.
But yours worked.
Yeah, it did, which was nice.
Did you say how far the shot was?
370. I think 373.
Hey, that's stretching it out in some wind here for the 6.5.
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah. But yeah, that was awesome. Big old goat. I got him hanging on the wall already, so pretty dang cool.
Couple shots right in the boiler room, right?
Yeah.
And you ate them all already, probably.
There's not much left. Yeah. We're having some antelope lasagna as we speak. That's what I got for lunch in the lunchbox. So, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of crazy though that having this rifle that long. That's the first antelope, and I really enjoy antelope hunting. But
yeah, it's one of my favorites. But these rifles are really good examples of what you can do to maximize performance out of a affordable factory rifle. I think one of the biggest things is buy it chambered in a cartridge that was designed for precision. So, your 308 Winchester 30-06, some of those legacy cartridges where the chamber designs might not be so optimal, your mileage may vary. These chamber designs were set up to be tack drivers, and you can put them in these economical rifles and they just shoot really well. And, their cold hammer forged barrels that they do seem to shoot really well as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to probably add to the collection here as the years go.
Awesome.
Well, you're going to have to. You're the Ruger American guy.
You're the Ruger American guy.
Kind of has became that thing, but yeah, they just work. So why not?
Awesome. Well, did we miss anything on the Ruger American his and hers combo?
I feel pretty good about it.
I'm pretty confident calling them his and hers right now until Courtney listens to this.
Yeah.
I'll have to say hers and hers.
Yeah. That's cool.
I may be gone that day.
I think it's pretty neat that there's still one there's coyote out there handy right there.
Yeah.
Got it right by the door. That's pretty neat. And, as the name would imply, the predator, going after the coyote. I mean, this perfect little shorter barrel, throw the suppressor on there. You got good optic on there. And you've got the accuracy to spare. You just talked about it. You ran these things out to almost a half a mile and making shots on antelope at, almost a quarter mile. Pretty impressive performance. Really handsome rifle, especially this one with that nice aftermarket stock. And I think this is, hopefully our listener appreciates what you can do to a factory rifle to just enhance, not only the aesthetics, but the actual functioning of the firearm.
Yeah. And if you have one too, like I said, potentially just for appearance again, but I'm interested in restocking Courtney's. So I don't know. I don't really have my eyes set on anything, but
yeah, you got some stock recommendations.
Yeah, I'll take them. I'll be super interested. I've messed with Magpul a little bit. I actually owned one for a while, but I don't know what's out there. I'm curious.
Yeah, drop a comment here. Let Judd know what you'd like to see on a stock on that rifle of his darling bride.
Yeah, let us know what you did to your Ruger American.
Yes, yeah.
Just nothing at all out there. Fine. Yeah. But curious.
Excellent, guys. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. Judd, thanks for sharing your rifles here and your antelope story, and enjoy your antelope lasagna.
Yeah. I'm not sharing.
Fair enough. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to this episode about these, I'm going to call them semi-custom Ruger Americans. There's a lot you can do at home with just some simple bolt-on features that are really going to enhance the capability of these firearms. Now, we hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you on the next one.